everybody. I hope business is great for you and that you're enjoying life and living it to the fullest. Wanted to give you something that really just kind of happened, and it was we'll call it coaching conversation with Sami Chowdhury out of our Troy office, Century 21 Town and Country. Sammy's been working these things called absentee owners and said, hey, can we just get together and have a conversation? And so what you're about to see is a recorded, unplanned, if you will, conversation with just some questions and role plays on these things called absentee owners, and what to do from beginning to end, even some objection handling, what to expect once those come in. So, hey, I hope you'll stay and watch the whole thing and enjoy what's there, and hopefully you'll get a lot from it.
So what it's my thought is today that we're going to start from A to Z.
Okay.
So that means first, because the letter you talked with the other lady, it is little different than what we talked before, and we were practicing. We have been practicing that one. So start with the letter, please.
The letter is keep it simple. I'm going to say that we're writing it with some vagueness, but we're speaking the truth. And that is then that it would do, dear homeowner, I'm writing to you today to see if you would consider selling your home located at, or the house located at, to a prospect of mine.
Okay.
Sincerely, Sami Chowdhury.
I mean, I believe one line is we need to add it up. If you are, please call me, right?
Yeah, you could. But what are they going to do if they're thinking about it?
Call me. Okay.
So it was, I'll tell you, I learned this from a gentleman named Roger Butcher way back in the late 80s when I first started. And that was very directly how he wrote it. And it was always with full postage, handwritten, plain white envelope. Okay. And the reason for that is that's going to be opened up. The return address is not the office address, but your home address.
I see.
With, put your name, like I always, D. Conley, 5085 Old Cove Road, Clarkston. Again, that way it's a personal letter, likely to get open. His direction was handwritten. I think personally, once they got the envelope, they're going to open up. The brevity gets to the point, they're going to read it. And if there's interest, they're either going to call or they're going to hang on to it.
Okay.
So that's the way to take a look at it, is to the reason that it's done in those ways with that brevity. And could it be on company letterhead? I believe yes, again, because at that point it's open.
Okay.
And it's so short that they can't help but to see what it is that we're actually hitting them for.
Okay. So right now, so far, the return address is going to be my home address. And the client address is handwriting, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And full postage.
And full postage, yes.
Now, another thought is, how many per week do you want to send out? Which might be how many per day do you want to send? And how many can you find that you want to do this with? So again, the big key is that if you begin to work this, work it for at least a year. because what you're going to do is every 3 to 6 months, you're going to repeat this.
Right.
Okay. So if you do it every 3 months, then we're talking basically 12 weeks. You know, if you had 120, you're sending 10 a week.
Yep.
Okay. And that way, every quarter, they're going to get a letter. Now, why might somebody consider doing it every 90 days? Because you're going to hit them with more of the frequency that will catch them at the time period where the lease is either expired or will expire, and they're going to look to sell at that time period.
Yep.
So it becomes the reminder. So these are just on a repeat that you do. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, you know, it's just figure out what area and how many do I want to do that I can then put the plan together. Is it every 90 days? Is it every 120 days, 180 days, whatever the plan would be? You want to get it and divide so that you can hit them on that particular frequency.
Yes. Usually what I was doing last year, I did every day I used to send 5. It is Monday to Friday.
There you go.
And that's how I got some leads and some what do you call transaction too. Okay, converted. So
So you've had some success with this already.
yes, yes, that's why every time I met a new agent, I asked them what they're thinking, how they're going to market themselves in there. And when I see that most of everyone missed this one, absentee homeowners prospect. So I inform them, then do that one. So sometimes they understand me clearly, sometimes they don't understand. Like the other day,
Yep.
I forgot about her name. But anyway, being says that one, let's do this, let's move forward. So after they got the letter, they opened it, they are thinking about selling, so they call me. So now we can start from there, right? I am the homeowner.
Okay. All right.
And
And I'm
and
going to
you,
answer my phone.
yes.
I'm going to,
Ring, ring,
okay.
ring.
Yeah. Hello. This is Darwin.
Hi, Darwin. I received your letter and I saw that you do have a buyer for me.
Okay. You know, fantastic. Thank you for calling, by the way. Now there's a number of these homes I sent out this past week, and previous. So I'm just curious, what's the address of your home?
1829 West Auburn Road.
1829 West Alvin Road. Fantastic. So you know, you got my letter, and there might be a little bit of misunderstanding here. What I wrote in there was that curious as to whether or not you would sell the home if I had a prospect. And and I can't say that I have a buyer for it. I haven't seen it yet, but let me ask you this: what's got you thinking of selling the home?
Well, it has been a long time. It is an investment property
Okay,
and it occupied by the tenant.
okay.
And now, due to the market and the headache with the buyer, I mean tenants, I feel like that I had enough. I like to cash it out.
So the frustration of being a landlord is kind of hitting you.
Right, you can say that.
All right. How long have you owned this home then?
Um, it's about almost 7 years.
7 years. Is there a reason you decided to become an investor with it?
Yes, because when I purchased that one, market was, I mean, buyer's market was very lucrative.
Yep.
And I had some cash on my hand, and I thought that, okay, why don't I invest on the real estate market?
Makes sense. Makes sense. Do you have any others that you're invested in, or is this your only one?
No, I do have two others, but those are already under contract with the tenant, and
Okay.
it is going to be available probably next year or so.
Gotcha. So right now it's just the timing is right. The tenant is coming up end with their lease, and you're kind of done with the part of being a landlord for this home, and sounds like the other two also.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll tell you, first thing, it was Sammy, right?
Yes.
Sammy, probably one of the next best steps then for both of us may be to just get together, take a look at the house. Let's see if I have any buyers that we're currently working with. Um, and if so, let's get them in there. But two, if not, then I'll add you to my list of unlisted properties if you're okay with that.
So you're saying that you don't have a particular buyer for my house because you haven't seen the house. Okay.
Yes, that'd be correct.
Okay.
We're constantly doing marketing to be able to have a continuous flow of buyers, but to say I have one right now for that home, no. Matter of fact, when I wrote the letter, I would have put their name in it, because there's a big difference between looking to find people who would consider selling and adding them to my list of unlisted properties versus having an actual buyer
Hmm.
for it. So no, right now it would just be let's look at it, see what I can do to help you out. And if it doesn't work, I've got a list of unlisted properties. So that because Sammy, I'm sure you're familiar with the market. It's a seller's market right now. And as such, with the buyers that we do get, sometimes we just got to go looking for those homes that are not listed within the MLS. And that's the one I'd like to put you to right now. And if it makes sense, that you definitely want to get the home sold. And are you familiar with the techniques that I use to sell homes?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
I'll tell you what, why don't we do this? Um, Tenant's still in the home, right?
No.
The tenant is out. Well,
Yes.
fantastic. Then why don't we get together? Let's walk through the home. Let's, at this point, see whether or not in my current buyers or within the office, if I have anybody that might make sense, the home may make sense for the buyers. Um, Two, I'd love to interview for the job of getting that home sold for you. Um, so if we could, we could take time and I'll let you know what it is that I do to sell homes. Would that work
Okay.
for you?
Um, I understand what you're saying it, but I do
Mhm.
have a few questions.
Okay.
One of them is if you have a buyer for my home,
Yes.
then of course your buyer going to pay your commission, correct?
That my buyer is definitely responsible to see that I get paid. How they do that is completely up to them, but yes. Yep.
I see. Okay. And what do you think I mean, how much is the price of my house could be or the value?
That's a great question. And without seeing it, I couldn't give you a great answer. But
Uh,
one of the first things that we'll do when we get together is to take a look at the only facts that exist in regards to home selling, and that's pretty much coming from the MLS. We will look at comparable homes, what those comparable homes have sold for, compared features and benefits, along with those that are currently on the market. And between the two of us, what we're going to do is set a very realistic competitive asking price, one that's going to get your home sold quickly so that you don't
mhm.
have the carrying costs and net you the most money possible. Make sense?
Yeah, that
Great.
makes sense. But
Okay. And any other
also this,
questions you've got for now?
yes, because I saw the other few other homes sold in in that particular neighborhood, which is about range about 450 to $475,000.
Uh-huh.
So that's what I was looking for.
Okay. And I'm going to guess you want to get the most we can for it.
Yes.
So that's definitely what we'll take a look at. And if we can get you more, that's what we're going to do. But in the end, Sammy, I'm just going to help you by giving you the one set of facts, working with you, guiding you, and let you determine what that price is going to be.
Okay.
So you want to get together? I got some time on Saturday, Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon. Either one could work. What might be best for you?
Saturday afternoon.
Saturday afternoon, you want to do one, or would two be better?
I believe 2 is going to be fine.
Two is going to be the one. All right. And Sammy, just so you know, I'm going to be sending over a package of information. In here, it'll have all the information about my brand, my company, myself. I'll send over what I can in regards to comparables, so that you got that to take a look at prior to my arrival. And outside of that, I guess, is there just you and I who need to meet, or who else might need to be or part of the decision on this?
It is just a me.
It is just you. So you're the decision maker. You can sign all the necessary paperwork if we decide that we want to work with each other.
Yes.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And we know we got a little bit of an idea. I'll tell you what, I'll be in touch then on Saturday morning. Just confirm our appointment, and you can look for that information. Today's Thursday, so I will have it to you no later than tomorrow morning.
Okay.
All right. Well, any other questions before we move on?
No.
All right. Well, Sammy, I'm looking forward to seeing you on Saturday at 2:00.
Okay. Thank you, Darwin. Okay. So this is goes one way, right?
Uh-huh.
I do remember that the other day when you were talking with her, right? You also come to a objection raised that prospect and the buyer.
Uh-huh.
So what is the difference?
Prospect versus buyer.
Yes.
Um, well, the prospect is, and you're hitting the reason that the letter is written the way that it is.
Correct.
A prospect, if you remember by my definition, is somebody who's ready, willing, and able to buy.
Okay.
Okay. A buyer, they're buying. So let me rephrase that. A prospect, so let's reverse that. A prospect is somebody who's not ready, maybe not willing, may not be able, whereas a buyer is someone who's ready, willing, and able. Okay. So, and I put it, look, we'll find a home and have one under contract in 30 days or less. The market today, as you and I know it right now, well, it might take somebody longer, even though they're ready to buy. It may take them longer just because the market is that competitive. They
Right.
may be, you know, the lower type of required financing. Let's take it as a RD. You know, that's one of the most difficult for somebody to be able to compete against, and then maybe they need concessions on top of it. So they're a great buyer, but the concessions hold them back from being able to make a competitive offer. So, you know, it's a buyer, but it might take them longer. But a prospect, they might be ready and willing, but not really able yet. It could be that they're willing and able, but they're not quite ready yet. It could be, you know, in a simpler term, I just had somebody call me and say, hey, they're thinking about buying. Well, up until they've signed a buyer representation agreement with me, they're just a prospect. So
I
that
see.
would be the other thing is that having the list of unlisted properties, doing what we're doing for the absentee owner letters, is simply trying to find and add to that list of unlisted properties.
Okay. So there's one question I had one objection, I should say, I faced before. So when they said that I got your letter, do you have a buyer for me? So of course I checked with that. Okay, which properties you are talking about? Okay, this is the property I'm talking about. I got your letter. So I see. Okay. So do you have a buyer? Before I didn't have that
Right.
approach. Okay. So now I do have the approach. Okay, so when I said that, well, I haven't seen your home, I don't know whether I do, because I haven't seen your home yet. So they say, okay, you know where my home is. If you have a buyer, call me then. How are you going to respond that? The same way that how I know that one, because I
Okay.
haven't seen your,
So just do the response pattern.
yep.
Remember that.
Mm,
So you know what? You're right. I could absolutely drive by the property, and I will do that. And so I'm assuming also then that you'd be okay with me adding you to my list of unlisted properties. Great.
okay, yeah,
And when I do procure a buyer that seems to match that, should I just get a hold of you directly?
yes.
Now, out of curiosity, what will be will there be any issues for a buyer now? Will there be any issues for a buyer being able to buy it, or is it vacant now? What's the situation you have?
Right now it's a vacant house, and I am looking for a buyer who
Okay,
wants it to quickly get my cash out.
great, great. So it is vacant right now.
Uh-huh,
Are you so you're looking to get it sold and get your cash out now?
correct.
So maybe I missed something. Are you currently trying to sell it by owner?
Not yet.
Not yet, but that may be there.
Yes.
Is there a reason you'd try to sell it on your own? I think I know the answer, but let me ask.
I'm not sure I'm gonna do sell it by my own, but I may find some realtor around my local realtor who can sell the property.
Oh, well, listen, are you familiar with the techniques that I use to sell homes and actually net you the most money?
I see. Okay.
And you know where I'm going now.
Right. Okay.
So if you really think about it, do you remember the original objection that you got? And it was just going, okay, so I can appreciate that. And boom, on we go. Then you have no problem with me adding you to my list of unlisted properties.
Okay. No.
And we just, so that objection just kind of goes to the wayside, which is the way we want it to go when they go, you have a buyer for my home. Well, I don't
Okay.
know. I haven't seen it yet. Just go, when you get one, you can call me. All
Mhm.
right. Well, listen, I'll absolutely, I'll drive by the property. By the way, is it vacant? Okay. So it'd be okay. At least I walk around the outside. Fantastic. And you don't have any problem with me adding you to the list of unlisted properties. So listen, it's vacant right now. What is, if I do have somebody, what's the complication? Because I just got to think, if, what if? Then what? And of course, that's where, you kind of allowed me to discover that other problem. Now, who knows what they're going to say? They could say, well, no, it's just like right now, tenants in there, it could be coming up. Okay, so if I had a buyer, we might have some difficulty because there's a tenant in it. Well, let me ask you, why would you even want to sell it right now? Because like before you put it, the previous one was frustration. It may be that, you know what, it's just time for me to pull my money out of it. Who knows what they're going to say, but that's where, again, the response pattern
Mhm.
becomes so valuable in that, I'm going to say, the relaxed mind of, look, there's a guy that's called me thinking about selling, not listing, thinking about selling this home.
Mhm.
Why? And is it just that, or is it he should be listing? Is he doing it just because of the timing and that it's like, well, gee, if you got a buyer, this tenant's moving out in 2 weeks. I mean, you don't know, but that's our ability to be very curious and find out what it is that they're thinking of.
Yeah. There's one objection I also faced, but I mean, it took time for me, but I overcome that objection and got that listing. But his objection
Oh,
was
hold
first.
on. Hey, Sammy, hope you got, there was a pause, a little delay right there, but it was Um, I had an objection and then it broke up.
Okay, I overcome that objection and got the listing, but
Okay.
it took time for me. The objection was that well, that time we used to put a buyer of mine on the letter. So
Ah,
he said that fine, bring your buyer, but I'm not going to list.
yep. And that's where, so if it was, look, even if it's, let's take it with the verbiage on the letter now that it's a prospect. Well, listen, when you got a buyer, call me and I'll look at selling.
Yeah,
But up until then,
but I'm not going to list.
but I'm not going to list. Hey,
Right.
listen, I can appreciate that you're not ready to list. I'm just curious, why wouldn't you want to list the property though?
Okay.
So again, there's the response pattern,
Mhm.
and it's like it's almost too obvious because we don't know the homeowner's thought process as to why they don't want to list. So
Yes.
as we've always said, we can't fix something until we know or diagnose what the problem is. So us asking all these questions is simply the diagnosis.
Yes.
We're trying to fix a problem that you've got. You know it hurts. I've got to find out where so I can then give you the proper remedies.
Yes. Because I just that's why role play is very important, because I find out two things is again and again you taught us find the problem, ask the question, find the problem. So, and that's what I fall short on. I didn't, or I still now I don't ask enough questions to find out the problem and provide them a solution.
That's it. We take them for I don't want to list as well, we don't even take it as a problem. It's just I don't want to list. We don't see I don't want to list as a problem. When in
Mhm.
reality, there's outlook, well, call it an objection. They're talking with you, and we should get excited because they're openly telling us we don't want to list. No problem. Obviously, you don't need to list your home.
Mhm.
There's the acknowledgement along with the repeat. Um, I'm just kind of curious as to why. Tell me more about that.
Good. Thank you, sir. One
Absolutely.
for us and for your future listener who going to listen that tape, right? Um, just shoot me that verbiage of the letter one more time.
Okay. So here's the simplicity to the letter.
Mhm.
Dear, and look, it doesn't matter if it's their name or if it's homeowner. I think it's kind of neat to put the name in there. If you know how to use mail merge in Word, and we're using the proper sources, we have the homeowner's name.
Yep.
So it might be, Dear Joe, I'm writing today to see if you would consider selling your home located at to a prospect of mine. Sincerely, and it would be Darwin Conley, Century 21, Town and Country. And I would just leave it at that. Oh, well, obviously your phone number and your email address,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
But now that I think back, yeah, it's on company letterhead because I didn't go, "Hi, my name is Darwin Conley. I'm a local real estate agent with." Nope, I want to get to the point. So I'm going to open that letter and it's going to see Century 21. And if anybody else is watching this, Coldwell Banker, and it's going to go, Dear Sami, I'm writing to see if you would consider selling your home located at to a prospect of mine. Sincerely, Darwin Conley. And there's your follow up with the company and your phone number and
And
email
email
address.
address. Yep.
So, all right, buddy. That's what we'll do.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You do the same, Sami. Have a great one, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.